A father with a family on the verge of homelessness suddenly inherits a fully furnished, Victorian-style mansion from his creepy uncle, who collected ghosts from all over the world. In the 1960s schlock horror film, 13 Ghosts. And that's the movie we're dusting off this week on Movie Bones.
I wish we had a house with furniture that nobody could take away from us.
Mr. Cyrus Zorba, telegram for you.
Regard to a matter of great importance to you, you are requested to present yourself in the office of Benjamin Rush, attorney, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
So, you inherit the house, which is the bulk of the estate.
Furnished?
Oh, yes. It's pretty old-fashioned, but it's furniture. Everything about your uncle was strange.
I seem to remember he was fooling around with the occult.
Dr. Zorba collected ghosts from all over the world. You inherit them, too.
So, I was editing the intro to this earlier, and I couldn't help but notice something about the credits. The show kind of goes through this schlock reel of all the ghosts that, here are all the ghosts you're going to meet in this movie. And it's like, I have no context for this. I have no idea what I'm looking at, except you have these different ghosts. And it's like, and one of them looked like, is that like a guy with a lion's face? And I didn't put the two and two together until the movie is actually like going through it. And there's a lion tamer as one of the guys, and he died by having his head bitten off by the lion. But the lion's apparently a ghost too, and he's counted as one of the 13. It's like, you were so desperate to fill that quota to get that unlucky number 13 that you actually included the lion's ghost. It's like, what, did he choke on the guy's head? There's a whole story here that's missing that I needed to see. The other thing is that you had, it's like, there's a woman whose face is very identifiable. Anyone whose movie history knows Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West. And here she is in this movie too. She's like, it's the Wicked Witch of the West. And she actually, by the end of the film, it's revealed she is a witch and she has a broom. And that's the kind of thing. It just feels slapped together, but also rather some of it feels intentionally slapped together. And some of it feels like it's accidentally funny. There is funny stuff here. I want to say that for sure, but that's my impression of it. What do you have?
There's nowhere where it's billed as a comedy. And hey, look, I'm not saying that you can't have funny elements in a horror movie that does break the tension and everything, but this was not made to be a comedy. Although I will say, the scariest part of this movie, hands down, like the most terrifying, and if you can't obviously see me, so I'm doing quotation marks here. The most terrifying part of this movie was probably the jump scare with the telegram deliverer person.
I think you're right.
I put in my notes, I was like, oh, that's how you prime an audience for this. And then the rest of the way, I'm just kind of like, where is the fright from this? It's not there. I mean, you do have some tense scenes. My children, one's 5, the other one is 10, sat down and were kind of like at intervals and were peeking at the movie. They were laughing.
I love it.
That's where we are. You have this character who inherits a house. He's a professor, scientist of sort. He's one of those types of, smart people that forgets that, for no pun intended, would forget his head if it wasn't attached to his body and everything. And because of that, he suffers from lack of paying for things that he should be paying for, like his house and everything. So they're getting kicked out of their house or their apartment. Uncle died, has given them the house and everything, which that kind of makes it like, it makes that part work. It's like, oh, we have nowhere else to go.
I
Like,
think
we
also,
need to go here.
if your name is Zorba, then I think you're contractually obliged to inherit a haunted house.
Yeah. Right away, everyone's like, by the way, this house is totally haunted. And you're like, all right. And then the ghosts start happening. And that's kind of the thing. I try not to be practical with these type of movies, but there's a couple practical problems in this movie. One, the house is haunted. Like, you are told the house is haunted. You all see the house being haunted, like, almost right away.
Yeah.
And then and then there's still times in the movie where they're kind of freaked out by the hauntings. And you're like, why? Like, you have established this.
Yeah.
The only person never really freaked out by it, and honestly, it's the character that I actually like the most in this movie, is the young son. And usually I get so annoyed with the kids in these movies, but he's the one that, he starts to get to know the ghost. We don't have as much screen time, and I know why we don't have much screen time with the kid. There's a lot of stuff that happens off screen. Like, there's this whole scene where they're in the kitchen, where that's where the butcher ghost is. That ghost starts getting riled up, and the boy comes in and he says, oh, this is what he's about to do. So just like, step out of the way. You'll be fine. Like, he gets over it after a little bit. At the end of the movie, you're like, these ghosts and the boy actually have like a relationship. That's a really neat story.
He had the opposite reaction to me, because it's like, he's the kid that keeps inviting trouble. Kind of like, I was thinking of the kid from, what was it? The Russians Are Coming, where he keeps taunting and pressing the buttons of the Russians. He invites trouble. Instead of the Russians, it's ghosts. But he has a different relationship with it. But it's like, he likes this stuff. And it's like, oh, more of this, please. I'm like, are you crazy? Get this kid a psychotherapist. What's the problem? What's your major malfunction, kid?
It becomes essentially a murder mystery after a while. And the murder mystery, is that they find out him and the gonna be turned antagonist person. You could have focused on him being the main character, even if he's inviting all this trouble, but you could have focused on that. And the movie is called 13 Ghosts. The 13 ghosts just don't matter in this movie. Like,
No.
I hate to say it, they just don't matter in this movie at all. Like, you've kind of already established. We don't know anything about the ghost at all. Like, zero. We only get, like, personal time, and again, quotation marks, with, like, a couple ghosts. The Tamer and the Lion, where we learned, like, what happened there. The Butcher, because of the kid's exposition on the Butcher.
Chef Boyardee ghost.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, that one looks like a Muppet.
He had a mustache,
Like,
but no face.
It looks straight up like a Muppet. And I know what they did. Like, they just put like a black clothing on them and then gave the white and everything, that person. But he looks like a Muppet. He almost looks like the Muppet, the Chef Muppet from the Muppets. I'm not kidding you. Like, go watch this movie.
Totally.
And you'll see it. But all the rest of them are just like props that you find at a Halloween store, any Halloween store.
Yeah.
Strung up on strings and then just being rocked back and forth while there's a sound in the background. Except one other ghost. I will say this. There is one other ghost that's like, what? And that's the spinny fire ghost.
Yeah, what was that?
It's like,
I don't get that.
That's all I can think is a spinny fire ghost.
Yeah. It's a pinwheel with flames. It's all.
Yeah,
and it's like,
and it goes back and forth, back and forth.
I'm not even know sure how I'm supposed to feel about this, because the others were at least nominally scary or frightening looking. At least, if you saw something like that and it was real, then you'd be scared by it. This would be more like a curiosity kind of a thing. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But as for the murder plot you mentioned, it's like, how about that murder weapon, huh? A murder bed. It's like, there's another unanswered thing I'd like to know more about, because that's the murder weapon for the uncle, the rich uncle. That's how he was supposedly murdered. It's like, so what did the guy do? He ordered this bed or had it made and he had it shipped in there. And it's like, here's a new bed for you, sir. I'm only your lawyer, but here's a bed for you. Did the guy create it for himself in case he wanted to kill himself? There's questions here that need answering, Ryan. And then, of course, yeah, but go ahead. Did you notice that? It's like, hey, what is the deal with this? It's like, who has a murder bed?
Yeah, and it's a slowly moving murder bed.
Yes.
Like,
easy to get out of, by the way.
They at least make that part a little bit more practical, because, like, at the end when, bad guy gets his just desserts, which is, he gets thrown into the bed, it's like right before it's like fully shut.
Yeah.
So he has no time to actually get out of that. But it's like, oh no, this bed is coming down on me. If I can't roll out of a bed, then, I guess I'm just going to die.
Yeah.
But you don't see any kind of spikes. You don't see anything. It just closes.
Yeah, it just closes.
And so that means, like, if it's just closing like that, you're probably just suffocating for a little bit. Probably nothing honestly, it looks like a thin piece of, fabric to be quite, and
Yeah.
maybe some board. Probably could get out of that pretty easily if you try hard. There are people out there that they like closed tight spaces. So I absolutely believe, maybe not the full kill part, obviously, but there's people out there that be like, you know what? I wouldn't mind that thing pressing on me as I fall asleep. It's like,
I don't know what that is. It's like the opposite of claustrophobia, whatever that is. It says that you like
yeah.
tight and confined spaces. I don't think I'd be one of those people. I think I don't know where I land on the spectrum there, but the fact that it had that much time to go down, and the fact that the lawyer who's working with the kid, he just wants to know where the money is, and he can off the witness, in the bed, basically kill the kid, and it's like so. But he takes the kid out of his own bed, and the kid does not wake up. Did I miss a scene where he was drugged? Could you imagine like someone just carrying you out of your bed, even in the soundest sleep you're capable of, carrying you through the entire house,
Yeah.
and then putting you in another bed and go through all that, and then I don't even know what wakes him up eventually, because it's like if he slept through all that, why is he even waking up to get out of the bed before it crushes him?
That's one of those things where the ghost would have been helpful there to like wake him up because he was friends with the ghost. They like him. And again, there's your story. It's about this boy and his 13 ghosts that he becomes friends with. And you could have made it to where he solves all of their afterlife issues to help them move on to the next. But we don't. We go murder mystery plot. Or not even murder mystery plot in a sense, but murder mystery plot mixed with trying to find the house treasure. Like that's where we are.
So they get rid of the bad lawyer dude's dead, and they get the money, and now they can afford to buy a non-haunted house. And what did they do? They stay put.
They stayed.
And I'm like, my brain just kind of fell out for a second. Like, you can't, wait, what? I mean, seriously, folks. They're talking about backing out throughout the film. It's like at some point they realize it's too much to take and they want to back out. Well, it's like, I don't see anything that's changed that calculus. There's nothing that's happened between when you said that and this point where it's like, except that you got money, but how does that change things? That's the way out. Your whole problem is that you're trapped because of money. You couldn't sell the house because if you decided you didn't want to live there, it would go to the state and the state wouldn't pay you anything for it. And then you have to buy a house out of pocket and you're already in debt. And so, but the money fixes all of that, Ryan. And nothing else has changed.
Yep.
I know. I'm
Yep.
it's the ultimate head scratcher. There's so many, this movie always drops questions. It's feel like, and this is a screenwriting problem, really. It's like, did nobody read the screenplay for like a second or third time to catch these things? And I'm saying, no, they didn't. It ain't that kind of movie.
This movie is titled 13 Ghosts. There is a reason why this movie gets remade in the future, because people or whoever liked it or whoever decided to recreate it was like, hey, we can actually expand upon this. And in that movie, I've never really personally seen that movie, but I did go look into it. But in that movie, they actually expand upon the 13 Ghosts. They make them more of a central part. They're not a central part of this movie. They just are there. It's happenstance that they're in a haunted house with these particular 13 ghosts. In fact, really what they do is they allow our antagonist to be the antagonist. And what I mean by that is like, oh, here's one of the ghosts. Like, seems like they've become physical and they freak the girl out. But it's like, that's the only time he ever does that, for starters.
Yes.
Although he does have some murder boots, apparently. But that's the only time he ever does that. And it's like, okay, that was kind of random. In fact, that's the girl you're trying to date. Why don't you get her on your side?
Yeah.
Why freak her out like that?
Actually develop some of the relationships between the characters. They had a concept. It was like, okay, we've all seen the haunted house thing. What if the guy who owned the house was some creepy dude, as is usual? That's not atypical. But what if the guy was some creepy dude and he went around and he was so obsessed with the afterlife and ghosts that he went around the world. He figured out, you could almost say this is a precursor to Ghostbusters. And he goes out and he has glasses. He develops glasses that can see ghosts. And then if he could see them, he could trap them. And he catch them and he can bring them back for reasons I still don't understand. But he brings them back and he collects them. The idea of having a ghost collection, Ryan, is actually fairly the most innovative part of this movie, but that's the end of the innovation. It gives you access to these weird, where would you find all these ghosts together, like a lion tamer and a chef and and a lover, and it's like, well, you go around the world and you bring them in. That's what you do. Okay, that's kind of a neat concept and
Yeah.
premise, but that's the limit of it, and everything else is very stock boilerplate. The mystery is the weakest part of the entire film because it's not funny in its own right. Like you
No.
said, the ghost stuff is funny, but the mystery plot isn't.
When it shifts to that part where it's like, oh, this is about,
The
treasure and
guy, yeah.
everything, then you're going, oh, yeah, okay. Now, God bless 1960s technology. And the reason why I say it is because those glasses are the goofiest looking things in the
Oh,
world.
yeah.
Now I know why the glasses exist. It's part of the gimmick of the actual movie itself. But the way the movie was shown, and you see this in the movie, like if you watch the movie, you notice how these scenes work. All of a sudden you'll fade out, but it'll fade back into the movie in that same exact scene. You're going like it can be kind of confusing at first, maybe even a little bit jarring. But when you went to the theater to see this movie, they gave you like a pair of glasses. If you wore the glasses, you could see the ghosts. So there's a version of this movie where there's no ghost, or you don't see a ghost at all. You just see them freaking out. So it was meant to be interactive like that.
Yeah.
Which, I'm like, that's neat. We do that now. 3D glasses, they exist for a reason.
Still just as much of a gimmick as it ever was.
Yeah. But of course, when they release it on video, when they release it on DVD, when they release it on television, it's like, well, you can't do that because you have to have a special screen to do that for starters, and you need the glasses to do that. So it's like, well, you're not going to mass produce the glasses. And you're also not going to be able to mass produce the screens to make that happen.
No.
So they just re-edited it so that you can see them in the thing. Maybe it's more interesting that way, seeing it for the first time and having the glasses on, because I know someone like me, I know people like that would have done this as well. Is like while you're watching the movie, you're probably taking the glasses on and off so that you can see. So it's like, oh, here's the screen without the ghost. Here's the
With and
screen with the
without,
ghost.
yeah.
Like that's kind of interesting in of itself. But at the same time, it's like it's a gimmick, and gimmicks never really last that long. It's
No.
They don't continue going on and on and on and on. I personally probably wouldn't have cared after a while, after realizing like, oh, the ghosts are there, but they're not actually that important to the story.
Yeah. So I guess we're at the point where we can wrap this up. This is Nuke the Fridge territory. I think we both agree on that.
Yeah, there's just so much ridiculous in this movie. Like you'll have a good time watching it. When I say that, I mean like you'll have a good time making fun of this movie as you watch this movie. The special effects are just so dumb. I don't know. I'd say the acting is fine for what it is. There's just a lot about this movie. It's just like it's so fun to make fun of.
Uh-huh.
In fact, if I'm gonna go watch it again, which I probably won't, I'll probably go watch it again just to see like. I'm trying to find the strings in the movie because there's a lot of floating things, and I'm like, okay, I know if I try hard enough, I can find the strings here.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is a Nuke the Fridge because the plot's ridiculous. The ghosts are funny looking. The ghost scenes are downright hilarious, in my opinion. When they're terrified, it made me laugh when they got terrified and everything like that.
The scene where the guy's got the glasses on and he's being scared, and the glasses have the unfortunate side effect of making his eyes all big. It made me think of Milton from Office Space, if you've seen that movie. It's like I'm thinking of that.
Movie. Well, that's another part of the ridiculousness of this movie. It's not just the fact that the glasses look stupid, and they do, and they make his face look distorted, and he's screaming. Like, you're almost sitting there going, in a practical way, take the glasses off, dude.
I know. It's like the only reason you're cowering now is because you can see it.
And that happens a couple different times in the movie. It's just like, just take the glasses off.
Yeah, it's a Nuke the Fridge because of the plot with the mystery plot with the money that fell flat, and it does kind of undercut the potential in a movie like this. And I have some morally objectionable parts. It's like with the Ouija board and the summoning spirit type thing, and and of course the seance toward the end. But this is somewhere in the middle low. For me, territory for Nuke the Fridge for me. It's at best in a museum, but it's kind of like just hovering between in a museum and bad dates. It's It's got some goofiness. I wouldn't mind seeing a clip here and there of like some of the goofier parts. But as for the whole movie, I don't think I'm going to probably revisit it. It's got that in between those two kind of ratings vibes for me. You had it higher though. I think you said actually trust me. So yeah,
I said trust me as we nuke this fridge, because there's so much this movie you can make fun of, and you might come back to it. And if you're a person that likes the 13 Ghosts franchise, which hey, there are people out there that probably do. This is where it all begins. So yeah, you could go watch this movie. But it's just utterly ridiculous. Like there's just so much ridiculousness about this.
I will say the film stock was really sharp.
Yeah, I probably won't go watch this movie again. But for those of you that like this kind of stuff, yeah, absolutely. This is one of those. It's like, yeah, you'll have fun doing it. You'll have fun with this one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, at this time, Ryan and I would like to remind the listening audience out there that if you're having a good time with us dusting off these old movies in search of celluloid treasure, please do like and subscribe and comment. And of course, follow us in your podcast purveyor of choice. Tell us what you think we got wrong, and clue us in on a few titles you'd like us to see cover on future episodes. As long as they're available for free on Tubi or other free streaming service, because this adventure comes with no strings attached. And we have a very different kind of film. It is very far from schlock horror. So why don't you tell us what the folks are in for next week, man?
All right, we're actually watching another Sidney Poitier movie. Portier. Am I saying his last name right?
Sidney Poitier, I think is the way.
This is what Tubi says. Sidney Poitier stars in this iconic version of the famous play about a cash-poor family who start to fray when they inherit a life insurance payout. This is directed by Daniel Petrie. I don't know if I said his last name correctly, but it also stars Claudia McNeil, Ruby Dee, and Diana Sands. Next week's movie is the 1961 version of A Raisin in the Sun.
And I've never seen or read any version of this. But I think it's based on a play. As is so many Movie Bones movies are based on plays. Mm-hmm. Seems like a very popular subgenre in this podcast. Unintentionally so. But we don't go looking for them, folks. They just happen to pop up on our doorstep. In any case, that's what we're in for next week. I can't think of anything else to tell the folks for this week, but we'll see you next week. And Ryan, I'll see you next week. Okay, man?
See you next week.